Jake Paul recently knocked out Tyron Woodley, changing his boxing record to now being 5-0. However, boxing fans are furious because they believe they spotted a hand signal from Jake that somehow means this fight was faked. Paul, who claimed a victory over Woodley in Tampa via a nasty right hand punch in the 6th round, finally got a clear win over him. If you recall, in the last time that these two squared off, the former UFC star lost to the YouTuber via split decision in August, but this time he just dropped really hard. Personally, I think fight fans just can't believe that Jake Paul has actually been training as a boxer, and so whenever he wins, it must be fake. Some are saying that in the highlight footage from his win, you can see Jake twisting his right glove in what looks like a signal to his opponent that this was the punch that he would hit the deck on, insinuating that the winner of this fight was already prearranged like some kind of WWE event. One user tweeted out a video of them stopping and starting around the time of Jake twisting his right hand towards his body. In the tweet they say, "Rigged? The twist of the hand to let him know it's time to flop." However, even that user believed that the contact of the punch was actually real, but maintained the fight was always set up in Jake's favor. The only part of that theory that I will entertain is the fact that Jake has an invested interest in continuing his winning streak. He's basically doing what Conor McGregor did to rise to the top of the UFC, or what Floyd Mayweather did with his winning streak. He's being loud and calling people out and then backing it up with real wins in the ring. But if that winning streak stops, all the hype goes away, because even people who hate Jake Paul will buy his pay-per-view just in case this is the time they get to see him lose. The other thing is that this isn't even the first time that he's been accused of rigging fights. In his first match with Tyron, Jake got hit with a nasty right hand from Tyron in the 4th round that sent him into the ropes and really had him off kilter for the rest of the fight. The bizarre thing is that Woodley didn't finish the fight right there. As Jake came back off of the ropes, Tyron backed up instead of going for a finish, which is leading many to believe that that fight was rigged. Many people on social media believe that it was written into Woodley's contract to not beat Jake in this fight. That is a valid point because it would explain why a former UFC fighter didn't go for the finish when he had the chance. But when fighting Jake Paul, it's all about the money. If Jake keeps winning, this sets up more money for him and even more money for the severely underpaid former UFC guys. And the same thing happened when he fought Ben Askren as well. Here's the thing though, I think what's happening here is that Jake is just younger and has a lot more to prove than his opponents do. Ben barely trained for his fight, and I don't think Tyron Woodley took him seriously at all. Jake, on the other hand, is trying to prove to the world that he's a fighter, so of course he is going to be training harder than his opponents, who are only really there for a paycheck. If that's their mentality, then of course they're going to get dropped the way Nate Robinson got dropped and the way Woodley just got dropped. Everyone loves to talk like they're a fight expert on the internet because they watched the clip of where things went wrong for Woodley and believe how they would have handled it must be better, so it has to be rigged by that, I don't know, logic, I guess. I saw someone actually say, oh, no fighter would ever eat a right hand like that without at least moving their head to try and slip away from it. That's just boxing. It's the same thing when you see someone taking a penalty kick in soccer or football for our friends across the pond. The goaltender doesn't know for sure where the ball is going. They have to watch which foot they're kicking with, maybe already know how the kicker usually likes to send the ball, and then in a split second make a decision to either dive left or dive right to save it. In a boxing match, it's all of that with physical consequences. You can see when they square up that they're not even trying to take jabs at each other. At this point in the fight, both of them were looking for their opportunity to strike with a knockout punch. Jake just happened to read Tyron better, noticed him drop his guard on the left, and then with his elbow down, it leaves that whole side open for a right hook. And if Tyron went back and watched his first fight with Jake, he would remember that Jake loves hitting those right hand hooks. So why he decided to drop his guard can only be attributed to him not properly training for the fight. I really think at the end of the day, it just comes down to his opponents not caring enough. He knocked out Nate Robinson with the same right hook, and with this fight with Ben Askren, it was a straight right punch that put him down. Although not everyone on Twitter was calling the fight fake. One user writes, I despise Jake Paul, but that was actually a good clean shot. It was coming, I called it 10 seconds before you could see the right hand loading up. Not rigged, no payout, Tyron messed up big time and was slept for it. Such a fake fight would have been difficult to set up as well, considering that Woodley was brought in as a last minute replacement because Tommy Fury had to pull out due to a chest infection and a broken rib. Jake Paul also made things interesting and said that if Woodley was able to knock him out, he would get paid an extra $500,000. Plus he gifted Tyron a Rolex watch just days before the match as a thank you for agreeing on short notice. At the end of the fight, Jake also called out Masvidal and Nate Diaz, who were in attendance but left when Woodley got dropped. In his post-fight interview, Jake said, "It was a tough fight. I had blood in my eyes. I had the job done. I was setting the punch up the whole fight. He didn't see it coming like a lumberjack timber." I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this though, because that's all the time that we have for today. So stay classy, and I'll see you on the next one.